Amy's world has never felt more silent. Every sunrise reminds her of what she has lost, and every quiet night leaves her wondering if her heart will ever feel whole again. But today, something is different. Today, the air feels heavier. The ground seems to hold its breath, and Amy has no idea that the moment she has been praying for is walking back into her life. The ranch wakes slowly under the soft light of dawn. Horses move gently in their stalls, their breath rising in the cool air. Amy is already in the barn, her hands busy but her mind far away. She brushes Spartan with care, yet her thoughts drift back to the memories she tries so hard to keep under control. Ty's smile, the sound of his voice, the way his presence filled every corner of her world. It all lingers in her mind like a song that refuses to fade. The barn is quiet, but Amy feels the silence pressing in on her. Every task she does reminds her of him. She adjusts a saddle and remembers how Ty used to tease her for being too careful. She pours grain into a bucket and hears in her memory the laughter they shared when Spartan once knocked it over. These small details are pieces of a life that feels broken without him. Her eyes fall on a photograph pinned near her workbench. Ty holding their daughter, both of them smiling with pure joy. Amy touches the frame lightly with her fingertips, and her chest tightens with longing. She whispers under her breath, almost afraid of the sound, wishing he could somehow hear her words. As the sun climbs higher, a strange feeling settles over Amy. Spartan lifts his head suddenly, ears pricking toward the pasture. Other horses shuffle nervously, their movements sharper than before. Amy pauses, holding her breath, sensing something unusual in the air. The stillness outside the barn is broken only by the distant crunch of footsteps on gravel. Her heart beats faster, though she cannot explain why. She wipes her hands on her jeans, frowning, her instincts telling her that something, or someone, is drawing near. Amy steps out of the barn and shields her eyes from the rising sun. In the far distance, a figure is moving slowly toward the ranch. For a moment, Amy convinces herself it is just a ranch hand or a neighbor passing through. Yet the way the horses react, the way her pulse races, tells her this is different. She narrows her eyes, trying to make sense of the shadow moving closer. The shape is familiar in a way that makes her stomach twist with disbelief. She whispers again, her voice trembling. It cannot be. Not after all this time. Amy stands frozen at the edge of the barn, her eyes locked on the distant figure. At first, the morning light blurs her vision, turning the stranger into nothing more than a shadow stretching across the dirt road. But as the steps grow closer, details begin to take shape. Broad shoulders, a familiar way of walking, the kind of presence that her soul recognizes before her mind can believe it. Her breath catches in her throat. She blinks hard, certain that grief is playing tricks on her again, the way it has on so many sleepless nights. She has imagined this moment 100 times before. Ty walking back, smiling, calling her name. Each time she would wake up to an empty pillow beside her. But this does not feel like a dream. The ranch itself seems to respond to what is happening. Spartan paws the ground with restless energy, his ears pinned forward as if he too knows the man approaching. The dogs bark and then fall strangely quiet, watching with wary eyes. Even the air feels heavier, charged with something that cannot be explained. Amy takes a step forward, then another, her boots crunching against the gravel. Her heart pounds so hard it feels like it might break through her chest. She whispers his name without meaning to, a fragile sound carried away by the wind. Ty. The man lifts his head. For the first time, she sees his face clearly, older, marked by exhaustion and shadows of hardship, but unmistakably his. His eyes, the same eyes she fell in love with, lock onto hers from across the yard. Amy's knees weaken, and for a moment she thinks she might collapse. She grips the side of the barn door, unable to look away. Every part of her screams that this cannot be real, that he is gone, that life has already forced her to face that truth. Yet here he stands, as alive as the day he left. Ty stops just a few feet away, his chest rising and falling with heavy breaths. His lips part, as if he wants to speak, but no sound comes out. The silence between them feels deafening, filled with years of loss, love, and questions that neither knows how to answer. Amy shakes her head slowly, her voice breaking as it slips out. This isn't possible. You can't be here. But Ty's gaze never wavers. His eyes glisten with the weight of everything he has endured. And in that look, Amy knows. This is not a dream, not a trick of her heart. Ty has returned. For a long moment, the world around Amy seems to disappear. The ranch, the barn, even the rising sun fade into the background. All she sees is him. Ty stands only a few feet away, his face worn from time, his eyes heavy with things unsaid. Amy feels her chest tighten, her breath shallow, as if her body itself does not know how to accept what her eyes are showing her. She wants to run to him, to throw her arms around him the way she used to after long days apart, but her feet remain planted. Her heart surges with joy, yet her mind burns with doubt. Her voice trembles as she finally forces out the question that has been clawing at her since he appeared. How? Ty lowers his gaze for a moment, his hands curling into fists at his sides. He struggles to speak, as though every word carries the weight of years. I never stopped trying to come back, Amy. I wanted to tell you everything, but I couldn't. There were reasons, dangerous reasons. Amy's eyes fill with tears, though anger sparks beneath them. Dangerous reasons? Do you have any idea what you left me with? Do you know the nights I cried myself to sleep, praying for a sign that you were still alive? Do you know what it did to our daughter, to grow up without you? Her words slice through the silence, raw and unguarded. She doesn't care if they sting. He deserves to hear the truth. Ty lifts his head again, his own eyes glistening now, and she can see the torment written across his face. Amy, I thought staying away was the only way to keep you safe. If I had come back sooner, I could have put all of you in danger. The explanation only fuels her conflict. Half of her wants to scream. The other half wants to collapse into his arms. Her voice breaks as she says, "Safe? You call this safe? You broke us, Ty. You broke me." The words hang heavy between them, cutting deeper than any wound. Ty takes a hesitant step closer, his voice low but steady. I know, and I will never forgive myself for the pain I caused. But I am here now, Amy. I fought every single day for this moment. For you. For our family. Amy's tears spill freely now, rolling down her cheeks as her body shakes with the storm of emotions inside her. She does not know whether to let herself believe him or to push him away to protect what little strength she has left. The space between them feels both like an unbridgeable distance and the thinnest thread that could break at any moment. Her voice softens, breaking under the weight of her heart. If this is real, if you are really here, then prove to me I'm not about to wake up again. Prove that this isn't just another dream. Ty lifts his hand slowly, cautiously, as though afraid she might vanish if he moves too quickly. His fingers hover inches from hers, and when their skin finally touches, Amy gasps. It is warm, solid, alive. No dream has ever felt like this. The crunch of gravel under heavy boots breaks the fragile moment between Amy and Ty. From the porch, Jack has been watching the entire time, his weathered hands gripping the railing tighter than he realizes. His heart pounds with a mixture of shock and suspicion. He blinks hard, wondering if age is finally playing tricks on him. But the figure standing near Amy is no stranger, no ghost from memory. It is Ty. Jack steps down slowly, every movement deliberate. His voice, low and steady, cuts through the heavy air. Is it really you? Amy turns her head, her tear-streaked face revealing the truth Jack cannot bring himself to say. Ty takes a step forward, but Jack's raised hand halts him. Don't, not yet. I've buried too many good men to fall for shadows. Tell me something only Ty would know. For the first time since his return, Ty's lips curve into a faint, sad smile. He looks Jack straight in the eye. You still keep sugar cubes in your coat pocket for Spartan, even though you swear you don't spoil him. The memory lands with such weight that Jack's grip loosens on the railing. His eyes water as he exhales a breath he didn't realize he was holding. Before Jack can reply, Lou rushes out of the house, her voice sharp with urgency. Amy, what's going on? I heard you yelling. She stops dead in her tracks when her gaze falls on Ty. Her hand flies to her mouth, her eyes wide with disbelief. She whispers his name as if speaking it might shatter the fragile reality. Tai Lu hurries forward, torn between hope and fear. She circles him like she is afraid to touch him, as if one wrong move will make him vanish into thin air. Finally, her voice breaks. How is this possible? We had a funeral, Tai. We buried the idea of you ever coming back. Do you know what that did to Amy? To Lyndy? To all of us? The questions sting, but Tai doesn't turn away. He stands tall, his voice steady, though his eyes betray his guilt. I know what you've been through. I can't ask for forgiveness yet. I can only tell you I had no choice. Jack takes another step closer, his gaze firm but his tone softening. You left this family carrying a weight that wasn't theirs to bear. If you're truly back, then you'd better be ready to answer for the years you stole. Amy stands silent, caught between relief and fear, between the warmth of seeing Tai again and the pain of everything left unresolved. For a brief moment, the four of them stand together in the yard, bound not just by blood or love, but by the unbearable weight of questions that have no simple answers. The silence stretches long, until the sound of Lyndy's small footsteps echo from inside the house. Her curious voice calls out, unaware of the storm outside. Mommy? Who are you talking to? Amy's chest tightens as she turns toward her daughter, knowing that the hardest part of this homecoming has only just begun. The house feels heavy with silence after the storm of questions. Jack and Lou retreat to give them space, though their eyes linger, wary and uncertain. Lyndy has been gently guided back inside, her innocent curiosity too fragile to be tangled in a truth even the adults can barely grasp. Amy leads Tai toward the old corral, her steps careful, her heart still pounding. The air is cool, the wind brushing through the tall grass, carrying the familiar scent of the land they once built their life upon together. The place feels timeless, unchanged by years, and yet Amy feels everything inside her has shifted. She finally stops walking, keeping a safe distance between them. Her arms fold tightly across her chest, as though holding herself together. When she speaks, her voice is steady, but underneath it trembles with every word. You can't just walk back into my life like nothing happened, Tai. You left me. You left all of us. Tai lowers his head, shame written across his face. I know. Every day away from you was a punishment I couldn't escape. Not a single sunrise passed where I didn't picture you here. With Spartan, with Lyndy, with the family. Amy's jaw tightens, her eyes glistening. Then why didn't you fight harder to come home? He takes a slow breath, his voice deep and raw. I did fight, more than you'll ever know. But it wasn't about me. It was about protecting you. If I had come back sooner, I could have brought danger to your doorstep. I couldn't live with the thought of you or Lyndy being hurt because of me. The words cut into Amy, filling her with both anger and sorrow. She wants to believe him, but belief comes with a cost. Admitting that all the pain, all the lonely nights, might have been for a reason. She shakes her head, her voice rising. You think staying away was protection? You don't understand, Tai. The danger wasn't what broke me. It was your absence. It was watching our daughter ask for her father every night and not having an answer. That's what tore me apart. Her words hang in the air, sharp as shattered glass. Tai closes his eyes, his shoulders heavy. When he opens them again, they shine with the weight of regret. I don't expect forgiveness, Amy. I don't expect us to be who we were. I only came back hoping that maybe, just maybe, you'd still let me be part of your life. Of Lyndy's life. Amy stares at him, her emotions pulling her in every direction. Her love for him never died, but the hurt he left behind is deep, and trust is no longer something easily given. She takes a step closer, her voice softer now. If you really mean those words, then you'll have to prove it. Not with promises, Tai, with actions. The two of them stand in the quiet corral, the distance between them smaller now but still full of years that cannot be erased. Neither moves, neither looks away, both caught in the fragile balance between past wounds and the faint hope of healing. And though no words are spoken next, Amy feels something stir deep inside her. A flicker of the bond that once tied them so fiercely together. A bond that, despite everything, has not completely broken. The sky begins to shift as evening creeps across the ranch, painting the fields in soft gold and shadow. Amy and Ty remain in the corral, still locked in that fragile space between longing and doubt. Their silence is thick, but not empty. It is filled with the weight of everything unsaid. Amy keeps her arms folded, her face unreadable, while Ty studies her as though he is afraid she might vanish if he blinks. From the porch, Jack lights the old lantern and watches them with guarded eyes. He has lived long enough to know that joy and danger often arrive hand in hand. Lou stands beside him, her arms wrapped around herself, whispering under her breath, "This feels too good to be true." Back in the corral, Amy finally speaks again, her voice sharp with suspicion. "You say you were gone to protect us. Then tell me, Ty. Protect us from what?" Ty's gaze hardens, and for the first time Amy sees something new in him, a shadow. He lowers his voice, as if the wind itself might carry the truth too far. "There are people out there who would rather see me disappear for good. People I crossed while trying to make things right. Coming back here, it wasn't just about me. It was about them letting me return." Amy steps back, her pulse racing. "Them? What do you mean? Who let you come back?" Ty doesn't answer right away. His jaw tightens, and his eyes dart toward the tree line at the edge of the property, where the shadows have deepened with nightfall. Amy follows his gaze and feels a chill run down her spine. For a brief second, she thinks she sees movement in the distance. Lou calls out from the porch, her voice trembling. "Amy, it's getting late. Bring him inside." But Amy doesn't move. Her heart pounds as she looks back at Ty. She wants to demand answers, but the fear in his eyes stops her. He isn't just a man returning home. He is a man running from something. Something that might already be closer than any of them realize. Ty finally breaks the silence, his voice low and heavy. "I came back because I couldn't stay away from you anymore. But Amy, this isn't over." The night grows colder as his words settle between them. Amy shivers, torn between the hope she has prayed for and the fear of what his return might mean for all of them. Behind her, Spartan snorts nervously, stamping his hooves as if sensing danger nearby. The ranch, usually a place of safety and love, suddenly feels exposed, vulnerable. Amy clutches the corral fence for balance, her eyes locked on Ty's. She wants to believe in him again. But deep down, she knows his return carries a price they are only beginning to face. And in that moment, as the lantern flickers on the porch and shadows creep across the fields, one truth becomes clear. Ty's homecoming is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of a storm none of them are ready for. Darkness settles fully over Heartland, and the once familiar ranch seems to change under the cover of night. The lanterns cast long, uneasy shadows across the yard, stretching like fingers over the dirt. Inside the house, Lou closes the curtains, her heart racing with worry, while Jack double-checks the locks as if the walls of the home might not be strong enough to keep danger out. Out in the corral, Amy stays with Ty. She cannot bring herself to leave him, not yet. The questions burn inside her, but the fear of the answers keeps them trapped on her tongue. Instead, she studies his face, the lines carved by years of absence, the weight in his eyes. He looks both familiar and changed, like the man she loved and a stranger all at once. Finally, she asks the question that has haunted her since the moment he appeared. Why now? Why come back after all this time? Ty's shoulders rise and fall with a heavy breath. Because I had no choice. And because whatever is coming, I didn't want you to face it alone. Amy's heart lurches. His words carry the sound of warning, of something larger than both of them. She glances back at the house, imagining Lyndy asleep inside, safe for now. A cold thought grips her. Maybe Ty's return isn't just a gift. It might also be a threat. The wind stirs, rustling the trees at the edge of the property. For a moment, Amy swears she sees a flicker of movement again, a shadow slipping just beyond the fence line. Her breath catches, and Spartan lets out a sharp, uneasy whinny. Amy turns back to Ty, her voice low, urgent. If there's danger, you need to tell me everything. I won't let our daughter grow up surrounded by secrets. Ty nods slowly, but his eyes remain fixed on the dark horizon. You'll know, Amy, soon. But for tonight, stay close to me. His words are meant to comfort, but they only deepen the dread curling in Amy's chest. She takes his hand, feeling the warmth of him, real and solid, and for the first time since his return, she allows herself to hold on. Yet even as she does, her mind whispers the truth she cannot ignore. This reunion is not a happy ending. It is the beginning of a storm that will test them in ways they never imagined. The screen fades on the ranch bathed in moonlight, quiet yet restless, while Amy's voice echoes in the background, trembling with both hope and fear. He's back. But at what cost? Fade to black.